Yes, I'm leaving in a couple minutes.
With 2 cars.
It's maybe
And a bus.
And a bus.
the car's mint, trust me.
Well, that's what it's gonna look like, guys. Full resto.
No, she says I see the guy's videos. Come on.
I see the guy's video. Guys, welcome back. Happy New Year. Down at Larry's garage again. It's been a little while. We got some updates on the 59 restoration. Larry's gonna take us through. Is this the repair we're doing today?
A re-repair. It was repaired once back in the day, and now we're gonna
cut this piece out.
We're gonna cut the piece out because, as you can see, the shape is not correct here, and they just kind of smeared all this with body filler and reshaped it with that. And we don't do that here, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this piece out. And I can feel some, looks like weld beads on the back side or something that they might have added to strengthen it, but we're gonna just get all that cut out and make it proper. So the first thing I want to do is clear away some more old paint and rust so I can determine where I want to make my cuts and how much of this needs to be repaired. Need to make a determination how high up I want to go. So I see some bad here, looks like some weld. I want to get above this. So I think we'll just come up into this area somewhere. We can always trim it down later. Take it to the cabinet now and get it blasted. It's gonna go in right there. All goes well. But what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to weld the support angle iron in here. Because we got the hood supported here and supported at the hinges, so maybe it'll be okay, but I'm not going to take any chances. If I cut this piece out, it could open up on me. So we don't want that to happen, so I'm going to just take and tack this piece of steel to keep
Smart.
Yep, keep a little bit of strength in it. That should bridge this and add a little strength to it as when I remove the old piece. So we know this is going to go like this. Now if you notice, this is hanging down quite a ways because we're on top of it. So this is going to end up going up. But I'm not really as concerned about that right now. I want to get it cut here and here. And then I'll trace this anyways, but most likely this is gonna end up moving up to here as the piece goes up. Or I can cut this down a little bit. I think it'll be all right. There it is.
Oh man, look at that.
This is the mess that I was dealing with on the inside.
Yeesh.
They had just gobbed a bunch of weld in there.
Try to strengthen it.
I don't know what they were doing, but you said we don't do this, so we're gonna put this piece in. And note that this did its job. I did not notice any dropping of this when I was cutting it out. And we're gonna just take a little bit off of there. We will cut to that. The front looks really good. It's a perfect match.
Yeah, that front's mint.
Isn't that nice? This is what we want. So now we just gotta get the back. I just gotta square that up just a little tiny bit.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's right on. Let me get a tack underneath here. We're gonna fine tune this up, make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, right here's a little tiny spot right there. See it a little bit? Ever so slightly. Right in that circle. And right here we got, see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, little tiny one right there too. Oh, right here. Oh, right here.
This is the backlighting trick, if you missed the last one.
So we got one there, there. Oh, this is slightly right there. Everything else looks good other than there. All right, let's get those done. All right, so we got one right here. Here. Get them all. Oh, right here. One more. Tiny one right here. All right, let's grind it down and see what it looks like. That should be good enough for now. Got some of the bulk out of it. Now we can go back in. It'll be a little easier to get our missed spots, just to give you an idea on the backlighting trick. You can see where we need to fill in. Now here, you want to be careful here because you really need to mimic the radius of the hood to get it to match. So we're very gently just going to go like this and up and around. good enough for now. When I do body work, we'll do some more hammer dolly work there, but that's a pretty nice repair. I'm pleased with that. That'll take little, when I'm done with it, little to no body filler in that. I should, let me just make sure before I cut that brace, I may have to weld it on that side. Yeah, I'm gonna run a weld.
On top?
Yep, right there too, just to make, because this is really thick. And then we can finish that off later. Perfect, lines up. We got some hood adjustments to do. Let's do the test.
The test, yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
These all droop a little bit to one side.
Sure. So that's the 4-tabber, folks.
4-tab hood, we're trying to save a 4-tab hood. It's really in rough shape, but this is the first repair of many. I'm going to be replacing the lower front section of this. As you can see, even though it was rusted, I did want to weld it just to hold the pieces in place, because even with this weak, it'll affect the arc of the side and the side of the hood. So I tacked that in. We're going to replace that, and we do have some issues in the rear we have to address.
So there's the 4-tab killer right there.
Yep. So we do got to work on this area here on both sides. This side's a little worse, but that's what we have to do to save these 4-tab hoods. So some of the things you guys might have missed is I put this quarter panel on, duplicated the factory spot welds up along here. They did 2 offset rows of spot welds here. This will get some seam sealer. And then along here was welded. I drilled holes, took some measurements from the other side, mounted my trim, put the spare tire well in. You guys weren't here for that. And that's a clock home panel, which those actually fit pretty well. And I made these tabs so it would resemble the earlier ones where the electrical wire ran under here and was folded down. So we started by welding it along here, and the 4 spot welds here on this tab. The front apron was off at that point because I could get in here easier to weld this with this out of the way. And you have to put this back on because it actually pulls these quarter panels in. And note that I put my hood latch on and my cable and actually got this mounting and functioning. You want to do all that now in the metalwork stage because we all have that heart sinking feeling when we close our VW hood and you pull the cable and it does not release. So you want to do all that now. So as you saw, that this does open and close fine. So I'll take some notes, some photos of what position the latches are in. So, and I will pre-assemble this again before it goes to paint to make sure everything is fitting well. I got some adjustments still to do on the hood. And you want to do that pretty much with everything, the fenders, the doors, deck lid, things like that. Get everything pre-fit before it goes into paint. So we had some rot in the original lower vent panel here, the window channel and all that was rusted. So it took me a while to contemplate how I was going to make this repair. So I ended up just removing this because it was so bad. As you can see there. And we took one, cut another one out of a spare car body that I have. And this will fit right here. So you gotta be careful when you do these because this vent panel is actually out of a 1965 car.
Okay.
Of course, you know 65s,
Bigger window.
big windows, but down below,
Same.
they are not. They get bigger up here. I want to try to keep this as low as possible because you see here, it's just starting to get a little bigger. So I want to keep my repair as low as possible.
Right. Before the transition.
Before it starts transitioning up, yes. So I will not weld this in now. We had one comment where people asked whether I sandblast or strip by hand the cars, and the answer is both. I do both. Even though I have a really good sandblaster who's never warped or bent anything on me, I don't want to give him that opportunity. So what I'll do is I'll strip the delicate panels by hand, so I get door skin, quarter panel, and then the rest of this can get sandblasted. And we're almost ready to have that done now. We're gonna have Jason maybe strip these quarter panels today. And what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna weld this in now. I'm gonna wait till after it's blasted. For a couple of reasons is now that this is exposed, we all know how hard it is to work in this area and get paint on here with the vent panel on. So when I get this sandblasted, get some epoxy on here, I'll actually shoot paint in here. Smart. And then weld this on afterwards.
Nice.
So we still have other work to do, welding to do on the underneath. I'll do when it's on a rotisserie. So basically, just about ready to go. I just want to, like I say, strip the quarter panels, and probably I'm going to mount my fenders and do my fender repair, so I can get everything sandblasted at once. Then it'll go into epoxy primer. Then we'll do a little more metal work, welding, and then we'll start our body working process. Okay, so we're getting ready to strip this panel. And what I like to do while there's still paint on here is I like to note any problem areas that are gonna need to be fixed. So what I like to do is take some wax and degreaser and wipe the panel down. And if you sight down the side of it, you can see I got some little door dings here. I got a little crease here. I'm gonna note where these are. So I know I've got a door ding here, I'm gonna circle it. I've got a little ding right here, I'm gonna circle it. I've got, looks like a little crease right here. I'm gonna circle that. I've got a good sized dent right here, I'm gonna circle that. And I just wanna check a little tiny, tiny ripple right there. And one right here. And slightly right there. Okay, so this is just for a reference, is why I do this. And what I'll do is, I'll just snap a picture of it, simple enough. I'll just have that for a reference. And the reason why I do this is, once the paint is gone, it's really hard to see these little dents and things like that. Yeah, they'll show up in block sanding, stuff like that, but if you miss one, you're gonna find it late in the process of block sanding, and they're a little harder to fix at that point. I try to fix everything early on, so I really only have to block sand a car once. So I'll take that as a reference and make sure that before we strip all the paint, that I have noted where all my damaged areas are. So there's a couple ways to address this, and on this panel I may do this, I'm not sure yet, I haven't made the decision. We already have two previous repairs that we did here. They're gonna require a tiny bit of filler here and here. But now you can see I've got a little ding here, 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 here. There's a bunch of them. So a panel this small, I may put a very thin skim coat on here and then block the whole panel down. This way here guarantees that I've caught every one of these. I don't generally do that process. I'm not a huge fan of it, but on a panel like this that has this many little dings, it might be feasible to do that. So the door, for instance, only has a couple little minor dings, so I will just fill these spots and then I will not skim coat the door. It all depends on the panel and how much work it needs to determine whether I do that. So now that I got this noted, we're gonna let Jason strip it down to bare metal, and then we're gonna do the other side, and then the body will be pretty much ready for media blasting. Okay, ready, Jay?
Ready.
All right, so I got 80 grit disc. And I'll use this to sand the body. It's really fast and efficient. So what I want you to do is I want you to use most of the disc.
Okay.
So you want to lift it ever so slightly.
Okay.
You don't want to generate a lot of heat, and you're primarily just trying to get the paint off. You don't really want to sand
Metal.
or grind any metal out.
Gotcha.
And you don't need to go full bore on this, just enough to keep the wheel going to get the paint off. So this is how I do it. Okay, can we do that?
Makes it look easy.
It's a very fast, efficient way of doing it.
Okay.
But then again, if you have multi-layers on a car and you have a lot of rust, then you'll have to go with another plan. But this is the best plan for
So
this
this
car
is
being
80?
original paint. Yep.
80.
Just keep it moving.
Yeah, you made it look, I saw what I missed.
Yeah, you see what you missed. You know why you missed? Because this was the crease.
Oh, okay.
So you went over it with a flat surface,
Oh.
so the paint is going to stay in the low. So you
Gotcha.
might notice that, like when you do, like where one of the dents. Watch.
Yeah.
Here's your dent.
Yeah.
See how that works?
All
There
right.
you go. Yeah, you can move around, especially if it's starting to get warm, but it's not, so you should be good. Or you can go longer, take a little longer past it. Let the disc do the work, okay? Okay, so Jay finished up sanding the panel down, and that took a whole, what, 5 or 6 minutes maybe? Not long at all. So now it's ready, this side's ready to get media blasted. So the sandblaster will blast basically from here up. I'll have them stay off of here just as a precaution, not to bend anything up. But if you do know there's like a little rust speck that was happening underneath, he may just hit that spot for me to clean it out. So you don't want to do any body work over stuff like that. It can just come back and haunt you. Okay, before we get ready to strip this side, I'm gonna talk about a little bit about what's going on here. This was done, I think, in the mid-90s. They put this panel in, and they really did a pretty good job with it. I'm not gonna cut this panel off and put another one in. I am, however, gonna grind out this old filler they have in here, and I'll probably just put Duraglass, something a little better, in here. But I do want to talk about, if you can note, see the rust on this new panel? Okay, so this is proof that primer does not protect metal. Primer, what happens here, even though this car was stored inside this car, primer absorbs moisture. And you can see the rusting underneath the primer, and that's the cause of this. So that's why it's so important when you're done with body work, metal work, and if the car is going to sit for any time, you want to put some epoxy primer on there to protect it and keep the moisture out of the metal to prevent this from happening. Because if you work over this, it's going to come through your paint, and it's just not going to be a good thing. So now we're going to go ahead and get Jason set up, and we're going to let him strip this side. We're going to grind out this filler and get ready for media blast.
There you have it, guys. We got an update on the 59 restoration. Larry's 59. Thanks for having us out, Larry.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
He's made a lot of progress on this car. I'll throw a quick clip at the end. Some of you probably didn't see this car from where I found it, and just to see it coming together is like, it's pretty cool. I mean, the whole, well, you'll see it. I'll roll a whole clip of it. So what's next? It's almost ready for...
Almost ready for media blast. I got the lower front hood panel waiting to come in. We're gonna get that replaced. Gonna address the issue of the rear of the hood and get ready for media blast. We're gonna put some fenders on it. That'll be next. The next big thing. You come down, we'll mount the fenders.
Okay.
Any tears in them, we're gonna weld them up, do what we can metal work wise on them, bang out some dents. So I can throw those in the pile to be sandblasted as well.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Anytime I get to work with Larry and actually work on a car is awesome. So you guys, Happy New Year. Thanks for dropping
Yes, Happy New Year. Thanks for all the comments and everything. I really appreciate it. You guys are too kind.
I appreciate it as well. So thanks again, guys, and we appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Listen to that door. Solid. Watch out for that. Yeah, we'll do it this way.
Want to hook around that way?
Check out the paint on that inner fender well. It was hard for me to give up this car, Lair.
Going to a good home.
It's going to a great home.